Hey, all right. Is everyone here now? Is everyone to the right page? You got to shared with me. You got to the one called Microsoft Forms and Assessment. Great. All right. So here's the list of stuff we're going to try to get through. We're going to try to get through as much as we can. Before we even start, who has used Microsoft Forms before in a non-professional development setting? Anyone? All right, great. So we're going to be starting from the beginning. So Forms is basically started as a way to give surveys out that you can share with anyone, and it is still that, but we're mostly going to be focusing on using it for quizzes or assessments, which I guess could also be homework, classwork, any sort of stuff where you're collecting students' responses to your questions, okay? And we're, for the first half, just going to focus on Forms. And then the second half, we're going to focus on using Forms together with OneNote to really give sort of a complete option. All right, so starting off, Microsoft Forms from the student's perspective. So how we're going to start, I'm going over to the class notes, my class notes section here. You're all students, so you can either just click on this, or again, those of you who are in my section last know this, you can click on your name under sections and go to your version of this class notes section. Either way, you want this one that says Microsoft Forms from the student's perspective. That's the page you want under the section using OneNote and Forms for Assessment.
Class notes.
I still didn't add you. That's why, because I didn't add you.
Oh, feeling triggered.
That's fair. You know what? You just like you can participate with. You're gonna look on because I'm so using OneNote and Forms for Assessment. All right. So what I want everyone to do right now is either click that link, or if you're totally lost, you could type in tinyurl.com/minutemanforms. Or if you're a really weird person, you could scan this QR code. I just wanted to give it because it is an option that they give you for sharing, and I've never used it before. So yeah. Don't anyone do that. Don't be that person. Yeah. Okay. So, don't do it. Click the link, and you now have a quiz in front of you. Go ahead and take the quiz. This is what it looks like from the student's perspective. So if you give a quiz through Forms, this is what it'll look like. Yeah.
It's asking, can I create multiple choices?
Yeah, it's not a real quiz.
In general, or can I create on Forms?
It doesn't matter. Just this is just so you see what it looks like. Answer whatever you want, okay? Yeah. Answer whatever makes you happy.
How do we get a hunch?
All right. So yeah, you're not going to be able to get to the right page because I didn't add you. But if you just open up Chrome or browser, whatever, you can at least type in this thing to see what Forms looks like.
Do you even math?
Yes, it's not a. It's whatever.
Okay,
It's so you can just see what it looks like.
All right.
Yeah.
I is 3.
Oh, I got 0, so how do I get 4 points? Is that the absolute pass?
I don't even think I put a right answer there for that. Yeah, exactly. All right. Embarrassing. That's so bad. Awful. All right, so all this sample quiz is just you can see the different question types that they allow you to do. So you can see the scales. I'm going to show you next how to make them. But this is just how they look, how the student experience is. Basically, yeah, what they'll see. Now, I gave these two options. What you didn't see, but that's also an option, and we're going to talk about in the second half of class, is on the screen where you were, if you scroll over to the right, you can also insert forms right into a OneNote page. And so your form is also right there. So that's another option. We'll get to that. So you can have it right in there. They don't have to go to any other page to do the form. It's integrated into OneNote.
And is that an active sheet?
Yeah, so it works. That's all.
You get the results somewhere?
Right, so that's like back up here on the agenda, right? So you've now seen it. We're going to go over how to make it and all the different options. And then while you guys are messing around with it for a few minutes, after I show you the different options, I'm going to pull up the results and give feedback and show all that stuff, okay? So that was the other reason I wanted you to take a quiz, so I could show you how to give feedback, how to score them, and all that stuff, okay? So far so good. Has everyone finished their quiz, submitted it? Hopefully, because don't worry about right answers. I said you could only pick 5. It says very clearly that you have to rate it a 5. That's disappointing. All right, pay attention to the directions, please. Okay, so there we are. We've done that. Everyone's seen it? Good, great. So creating a quiz. This is also in class notes section. And again, you have access to this if you want to get back to this class later. It's also, like I said, I'm recording this right now, so I'll put up the video if you wanted to experience this torture again, but in fast forward mode, you could do that at some point. All right, so creating a quiz. Everyone's done the quiz? Anyone still with me? Okay. Creating the quiz. And you don't have to follow along if you don't want to on your own screen. It's just an option. Okay? So, first, get back to that Office 365 home page, the one where you clicked OneNote to begin with. And this time, select Forms. It's the one that says Forms and has a button that looks like that one. That's the one you want to get to. Go ahead and get there. All right. Wait for everyone to get there. Yeah, and then next we are going to select new quiz. And I'm going to open one up too. But I just want to show you, on yours, I believe now, there's a new little 3 dots here above new quiz. Does everyone have those little 3 dots? If you click that, it'll say Education Resources. It's not very well built at this point, but they have a whole, cabinet full of pre-made tests. Again, really only relevant if you're an English, social studies, science, or math teacher. But they have a whole bunch of pre-built tests. My assumption is that they're going to be continuing to add more because this is a brand new feature. But I just went there and pulled up 8 different quizzes on volume of shapes. There's some different English writing quizzes that were already pre-built. So that's another thing. But anyway, for now, click New Quiz. And I'm going to hopefully also pull that up. All right. So, come back to those results later. Come back to that later. I guess I'm just going to have to open it. All right, Forms, New Quiz. Everyone in the right place? Okay. No? Yeah. You already clicked New Quiz. Whatever. All right, so you click New Quiz.
Does he not have it because he just registered?
No, he's there. It's in the class notes section. Okay. And in create a quiz in my, but again, you're just going back to Office 365. There's no links on this. This is just notes on it. Yeah. All right. So once you're here, go ahead and name your quiz whatever you want to name it by clicking on where it says Untitled Quiz. So you have to actually go back to 365. OneNote doesn't allow you to whatever. So you have to go back, open Forms, actually go through these steps. Go back to Office 365, yeah. So go to Office 365, click Forms, select New Quiz. Yeah, so go back to there. Yeah. And then click the thing that says Not Swift Forms. Yeah, that one. Yes, and then, yeah, New Quiz. All right, and then type the name of your quiz. So, anyone else not there? Let's just sort of see. All right, quiz. Great. Okay, so you can name it, whatever you want to name it. You can enter a description, so like a subtitle. It won't show up on that screen you just were, that is the Forms home, but students will see it, whatever. So however you want to use that. You can, if you're getting crazy, I guess, you can add an image at that point. either image search or OneDrive or upload one. I've never really done that before, but you could. That's a thing that can be done. Other sort of before you're using the quiz things that I'd never use, but I'm going to mention once. See the little art palette and the button that says theme? That allows you to choose themes. So you can put a little background, including apparently just picking an image of your own to add. That'll be on the background of the forms and change the color scheme. I don't know if that's what you're into. Okay? All right. So what we're really going to focus on here is the different types of questions you can add and yeah, basically what each of those different question types does. So click Add Question. And you get all these different options. Choice. What do you think choice does?
Multiple choice.
Multiple choice. And it allows you to add however many options you want. So it starts with option 1, option 2. For some reason, if you type in the words, is it comes up with some suggestions. Like you can make it yes, no, or maybe automatically. I don't really know why. I haven't found any other magic words. But otherwise, you can call your options whatever you want. Something I do a lot and we'll get to is if I just have an already existent multiple choice test, right? A final that I've been using for however many years, I just go through and I make one question that says whatever, A, B, C, and D, okay? And then I click this copy button and I copy that question over, and I change the answer choices as I go through each time, and now I've got a form where I can instantly collect their answers. So if your clickers are starting to wear down, or your Scantron doesn't work anymore, or you just really want to use the computer more because the MCAS is going to be on the computer, and you want kids to get used to testing on the computer, this is a way to collect responses for all those sort of formal tests you do. All right, anyway, so multiple choice. Did everyone create a multiple choice question? All right. As you're going through, this is being really annoying. I'm going to take it off this tablet mode because it's being obnoxious. As you go through, if you sort of hover over your answer choices, right, in addition to choosing what they say, you can choose to delete it. You can choose to press the check mark, which obviously marks that as the correct answer of the multiple choices. And then there's also this little comment button that we'll come back to. But basically, as some of you might have seen once you submitted your answers before, you can type a pre-built comment there. So if you know that like choice A is going to be a really common wrong answer, and you know why it's wrong, like, oh, that's the noun, not the verb. I'm trying to use an English example. I don't know if I did a good job there. Then you can type that comment preloaded, ready to go, and when they're done the test, they automatically get that feedback about how they messed up. So that's one way to do it. Okay, other things that are really basic to this. You can assign points to this thing. So if you want this to actually be a quiz, or you just want to be able to grade the homework right or wrong, or however you're using this, you can assign points. However many you want to make it worth, it doesn't really matter. I pick 4. It doesn't matter, like rubric, scale. Other things within just this one, you can make things multiple answers. So if you have more than one right answer, multiple answers, and you see it changes over to check boxes instead of circle buttons, right? If you do that. So that's just, if that's how your question works, it's there. Required, sorry, a lot of features. Required just means they can't submit it without answering that question. So if you don't want to give them the option of leaving something blank, then you select that as required. And again, if you just want that to set to default, you can use this copy question feature as you go through.
I don't have the points little box. Or whatever. I would just plan around with it.
Yeah, point notes there. Yeah, exactly. All right, we're good. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see.
All right. Again, add question. So for new questions, so let's just see the other options here. Text, you can type in whatever question. You can add an image, or I should point out here, a video. This is also an option for all the other question types. So if you wanted to ask a question about a video, I guess that's a thing you could do. I've never done it. You can choose this long answer option. So that's what I did when I said type in an essay. So if you want to receive an essay or your third question is a short essay, then you select long answer for that question and they'll have plenty of room to type in their answer choice.
How much is this one limited to?
Space?
Yeah, if you don't, do you have any idea what?
I don't know. But I assume like, I don't know. I don't want to make any guesses. But yeah. All right.
If the long answer, do you know what that is either?
How, like, what it's limited to?
Yeah.
No, but I think it's fairly long. I think the idea is because I've seen some of the pre-built ones asked for essay responses. So I assume it's a good page or two, but maybe you wouldn't want to plan it. You wouldn't want to plan a 10-page.
Limiting or?
Not that I know of within that. I mean, I think the not long answer option probably limits it. I know you can't add a correct answer for the long answer. Yeah, so one thing with the short answer is like that's, if you just didn't want it to be multiple choice, but up was the answer, you can make that the answer, right? 4x minus 3 or whatever you want your answer to be, that's how you can type it in, and it will mark it correct. As long as they spell the word right, whatever they put in, if that's what the answer is supposed to be, and there's only one correct answer, it'll be graded automatically. Right. Oh, yeah. I guess there is a little button that says restrictions. Oh, you can restrict things to being a number or within a certain range of numbers. I suppose that's one of the restrictions. You can also make it math. So, Fusco, yeah, you can play around with the equation editor and make them, you're here too, I guess, and make them edit equations. Yeah. I think, wait, is that the sign-in sheet for this one or the last one? Does anyone know where the sign-in sheet is by Fusco? Fusco's got this one. All right.
I guess there's no cheap way to take something like a PDF or something and upload it so it goes in here and that way you don't have to.
No, but I'm going to show you what you can do along with that, which is basically you put a PDF into OneNote and you put the forms next to it, and it's just like, question 1, short answer, question 2 is A, question 3, whatever, and that takes 30 seconds to actually make a form that doesn't have any questions in it.
Okay.
And that's what I do all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about it afterwards. I do want to say what I just said to Mr. Secretaris over there, I don't ever actually make tests in forms. I use my tests that already exist and just use it as a answer form. So I just leave it saying question, question 2. And then if it's multiple choice, I add A, B, C, D. If it's a number or a short answer, I just leave it as a blank short answer. I'll put the right answer in as an answer key. Then I don't have to write it all up there. It's just available. We'll see what that looks like at the end. Other stuff, other question types. So rating, I've never used that, but I guess date, I used that on this sample quiz where you had to select a date. I guess that would be useful for social studies. I don't know. And you can also do another ranking. So like sort these from least to greatest, from most important to least important, whatever. That's an option for making questions. And Likert Scale. So you can do an either 1 through 5 or 1 through 10 scale, like I did on that last question in the sample. So those are all question types you can make. Go ahead and take 5 minutes and mess around with it. We're going to talk about some of the other features and settings afterwards, but go ahead and take a little bit to mess around while I pull up your results from the last test. From selected the data, once they've taken the quiz or the homework or however you're using this, right? You can go back to that form. You won't have this option right now, so this is just you're looking up here, and you're going to select responses. So you've made a quiz, and those of you who've finished it, it'll already show you. It'll just say responses 0, and there'll be nothing there. All right, so you've made your quiz. This is the place where you made the quiz, and then there's this tab at the top that says responses. That's where all the responses will go. We're going to talk about sharing it backwards in a minute. It'll give you this quick overview. So just like general results, this is something you could put up for your class if it's a formative thing. Like, hey, you all got question 1, great. Question 3, oh my goodness, it was a disaster. Let's go over it. Maybe not phrased like that, but maybe. I guess that's your call. There's little things here, like you can click more details to see who responded what real quick. Yeah, maybe, Primpus. That was me earlier testing that this worked. All right. Yeah, and this is just, like I said, this is the overview, right? This is just the broad view. It's pretty useless for a lot of things, but it's a good quick overview. What you want is where it says review answers. This is sort of the nice feature of this. This is what allows you to do feedback and change things and really sort of use this as a communication tool. So there's two options. One is you can start with people, and you can go through each of the individual people and say, I just want to give feedback to Kevin Hunt. And I can see that he took 31 seconds, so he took it very seriously. And if I wanted to, I could give overall feedback right there, right? I could type a message. I'm not going to, but I could type a message specifically about that quiz. You know, great job today. I thought you really tried hard, whatever. I've never used that before, but you could. It's there. You can also go through and decide to give comments on individual questions. Like, you know, you should have picked something here. Penguin was not the answer. This was a volume problem. So someone put penguin the other day. They put a lot of weird answers, though. Yeah, so that's what you can do with this page for individual people. Yeah, just as you go through. You can also change points. So you can give extra credit. You can give half credit, because I made them worth 4. So 2 points. I thought this deserved half credit at least. This one right here was a long answer, so it didn't automatically assign points. So I'm going to give this one 3 out of 4. And I'm also going to say, you know, should have picked Harry Potter. All right. And that's it. So that's what you can do for individual people. You go through, you can change the scores if you think you need to, or if you need to adjust anything. And then for questions, so say question, question 3, which was my first, no, question 4 was actually worth something. All right, and 2 of you guessed correctly that they should be worth 4 points. Good job, 2 people who did that. And I can send a message to those 2 people directly. But say I decide, 100 was a really good choice. I'm going to give you guys half credit. Ooh, not 20 points, 2 points. And say, great job, didn't think of that. All right. Then when I finish this, all of these messages that I send, all of these changes will go out to those students. So let me just see if there, go back through and see if there's anything else I want to go over here. So yeah, you go through the individual questions, see if there's anything that needs to be modified, see if there's any partial credit you want. Hey, this person said 4 points instead of the format I expected. They definitely deserve full credit. That sort of thing. Any questions right now on this, like, getting responses thing? All right, so you can give pretty full feedback here. So again, if it is an essay, you can give like a general sort of, or you know, some sort of short answer. You can give a general sort of feedback there on how they did, in addition to just the numerical score. As many as you want. That's a good answer. I should give it points. All right, once you've done that, and you've gone through each and every question and rated it worthy or not, you can then go back, and let me just make sure my notes that I left myself. So yeah, individual people, you can give general feedback. You can give feedback to their individual responses. You can change points. And by question, you can give feedback to all students who selected a particular answer choice. And as I said earlier, if it's multiple choice, you can have preloaded comments as well that just automatically spit back. Any questions right this second? Yeah.
So it says point B by questions. I think when I was taking it said like good job, champ. Is that what you put in there?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
It sort of like bubbled up.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
I think I got that right.
Maybe. I might have. I know I put in some preloaded comments on there.
Okay, so you can
But
do
they'll.
that also.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is right now, once you've taken the quiz, if you go back to that link from the beginning, it just says you can't take the quiz again. So they don't have their feedback available anymore after that initial screen. But what you can do is you click Post Scores, and you select all of them, or you can just select them one at a time, like if you only want to post someone's score and give another person a chance, whatever. You click Post Scores, and now if you all go back to that link from the beginning, the Microsoft Forms one, or you just type in the tiny URL right there, any feedback I gave you just now, or your results that hadn't been posted before, will now be there, or should now be there. All right?
On the tiny URL.
Yeah, if you go to that link.
Okay.
Or again, it should also actually show up if you just do the thing this time where you scroll over to where that form is on the right-hand side of that page. It should just be there. So you don't even have to click the link. So if you're on this page, Microsoft Forms from the student's perspective, and you scroll over to the right, you will see your results posted where I left them. I hid it from you on purpose. You wouldn't normally want to do that. Generally, you don't want to hide stuff from students, I guess. So it depends on your mood. All right, but you can see all the comments or whatever changes in score that I gave you, and you have your results pretty much right away. They can't lose it. They can't say, I definitely took this quiz. It's there. All right, so let's see. Back to the agenda. We talked about creating quizzes and giving feedback. I just want to go through a couple more options on forms before we sort of really quickly do the other thing that I was going to do. Any questions right now, though? Because I know I'm moving through a ton of stuff. No? All right. So other things you need to know how to do with just forms, if you're just using forms without any of the stuff I'm going to talk about in a second. You can preview it as you're making it, right? That just shows you what your student view is going to make. So if you're making a test or a form and you want to see what it looks like, you click preview and it'll just quickly show you what it'll look like on computer or mobile. I do have students who just hate using their computers, and occasionally I'll give in and just say, all right, just open it on your phone and take the test on your phone. And they can do that. I don't know why, but they're more comfortable that way. Probably not cheating. No. All right. Share. Okay, so I right-clicked. Share. You can choose either only people in the organization, in other words, only people who have @minuteman.org addresses to be able to respond, or you can pick anyone, right? So if you're sending this out as a quiz to whoever parents, anyone can respond. Otherwise, only people in the organization can respond. You have a link, so you can just send the link. You have a QR code for whatever reason that people use that. You can embed it, I guess, if you have a website, and you can just email it.
How do you typically do it?
I use a link, and then I put it on OneNote because I use OneNote, and all my students have OneNote, and they're used to seeing things on OneNote. Actually, I do none of the above now. I put the form directly into the OneNote page, which is what we're going to do now. All right? So anyway, those are there. Do some other random stuff. Oh, settings. I wanted to show you some settings real quick. Oh, sorry. I keep saying oh. See where it says branching at the top? I'm not going to go over it. If you want to get really fancy, if you're doing multiple choice tests, you can say, if you pick choice A, you get to not do the next 3 questions. You get to skip to question 4. If you pick choice B, you get to go to question 2, and you can organize the test that way. I've never done that because that seems really hard, but if you want to, it's there. Settings, you can click to have it show results automatically. That's what I normally do, but if your classroom's crammed together and you're concerned about cheating, you can unselect that, and then they'll only get the results after you post them. So when you took that quiz, you got results back right away. You don't have to have it set up that way. You can have it set up that it just, gives them a blank screen and then they get it later and they go back. Record name. You can make it not one response per person. So if you want to have multiple attempts at the same thing, you can have that. You can also do start dates and end dates and times. So you can make this test only available for B block on Friday. If you're really worried about it, you can also click shuffle questions, email notifications for each response. If you want to get an email every single time someone submits one, I don't know. I know someone who does that. Yeah, so that's the basic stuff with forms. Everyone good so far? So good? We can move on. We got like 10 more minutes or whatever they told us. Yeah. Okay. Other half of it. And this is how I actually tend to use it. I have a pre-existing test like this one, the derivatives unit test. Okay? It's a Microsoft Word doc or a PDF. So this could be a test, it could be a worksheet, it could be a whatever. Okay? Something that you would normally hand out. I insert the document. And if you were in the last class, you saw how to insert documents. Does anyone not know how to insert a document into OneNote at this point, wherever you were?
Is that a page?
This is a page on OneNote. There's an individual page, and then you click Insert PDF Printout, and it'll insert the file, okay? So I have that there. Students can, if they so choose, they can zoom in, zoom out, they can write on it with their touchscreen, or they can type answers directly on there, and you would get that. So I did that over here earlier with Mr. Hunt's. Oh, wait. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry, this is a weird feature. I'm using the app because I like it, but I had him draw it in on the online version of OneNote, so it'll show up proper on that version, but it shows up slightly shifted. Something that you should be aware of if you're using two different versions of this. But anyway, you can see where they've written on it, and you could go back and give feedback there. But like I said, what I do is I attach the form right there. This will show up better in the online version. Nope, not that. All right, so let me get back to the correct one.
So is the form the basic answer key for you? Or
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's like the answer key. So you have the answer key already loaded in, you have everything loaded in, and everything just automatically is collected. The students do it, they can't lose it, it's just there. So I have that test, and whoever, so I'm trying to get rid of this chat feature here. All right. So Kevin goes and takes this test or this homework or this whatever. Or whatever student, right? It's having issues loading. All right, so say it wasn't doing this, which it is. It should have the form there, the answer key, like we showed it a minute ago, all loaded up and ready to go. Actually, I think if I click that, it'll work. Where they can enter it in. So they can just go back and forth. They can either, do work out there, or you can just use it as here's the question form, here's the answer form, and they just flip back and forth to type it in. Yeah, I don't know. That's the basic idea. So homework, tests, quizzes, anything you collect, classwork that you want to be able to just bring in and have all the data in one place. It's a pretty quick and easy way to do it.
So once they do the answer form, that's an active link. They just press that and then it'll go to you.
Yeah, exactly. Once they type it in, this is active. This just whatever they pick will go right to me.
Is
okay.
that on the same page or is that another?
Yeah. So this is what I'm gonna show you. So I'm trying to get the online version to work since that's what you're using. Okay, here it is. All right. So here's the page, right, that I have open. All right, and you can just start a blank page right now. If you have OneNote open, if you have this notebook open, just open up a blank page. Okay. You can insert a document, any Word or PDF document. I have this one. So yeah, whatever. I'll walk through this fresh. Sort of falling apart here. All right, I'll start a new one. So I've got a fresh page. That's a test. You call it whatever you want. You press insert. You press file printout. You find your test that you've been using for whatever. You insert it. It's there. It's now an image, and students, although you have to do some additional class notebook stuff, students can write on it, they can type on it, and you will see their responses. But that's not how I would say this will work best. All right. So once you have added a document in, I know I'm moving fast, but I'm trying to get out of here. I'm trying to get you out of here. That's what I mean. All right. So once you've submitted it, right? Once you've added your document in, what you should be able to do is click outside of that document somewhere. And this works better in the app version, but whatever. You should be able to do it. Okay. Bleh. Oh, okay. I'm going to just do this real quick. Hide all. There we go. Click somewhere you have room outside of it. Okay. And see on that same insert tab where it has file printout, see where it says forms? You click forms. And then you click either the form you already made or a new form or new quiz, which will just open up in the web browser. It's really hot in here. All right. And it'll insert. So if you wanted the sample quiz, if you wanted a new quiz, if you wanted whatever inserted in, you just insert that answer key that you made in there. And then you have both things there. So when students take the quiz, when you give feedback, it'll just be on that page. Okay? So when you did all the comments and grading and feedback, whenever they visit this page, it'll have all their comments and grade and feedback, in addition to whatever work they might have worked out on the paper itself. Yeah.
So I missed that really quick. Was that a insert form?
Insert form, yeah. Okay. Insert form. So you inserted a printout and you inserted a form. Right? So we
use the form as an answer sheet.
Yes. Yeah. So that's basically, I mean, that's all this is. It's an answer sheet. You can make, like I said, you can just make the whole test in there if that's what you want to do. But the easier thing most people have
They already have that.
have stuff. So you just make it. You just have your test that already exists, and then you very quickly make an answer sheet, and then the answer sheet's there. And it, yeah. Yeah. So that I mean, again, that's what I do. I have my PDFs or whatever tests I have, and then I really quickly make an answer sheet in Forms, like 30 seconds before the class starts. And then they submit all their answers, and I have all of their answers, and I can give them feedback and grades and whatever. And it's there, and it doesn't go anywhere, and whatever. Parents can see it, I guess, but you have to share it. Yeah.
So they're not gonna see that while they're taking,
No.
it
What?
goes up after when they're done.
All the feedback?
Yeah, no, the
Oh,
form on the.
that thing. That was just the me inserting it. Yeah. But like what they'll see is they'll see a page that looks like this, right? Their test on one side and the answer sheet on the other. Right? And so they just have to flip back and forth. You can also give them the paper printout. I mean, most of the time I'm still doing that. Just give them the paper and do the form. That's even easier, right? But like, it's there. If you really wanted to like go back on paper, whatever, your printer's not working, that's there. Printout, answer sheet. Yeah.
And where do the answers end up once they're submitted?
So you go back to, so that the same exact place you went to make the test is where you will see your responses, right? So back in Forms, the same exact page that you used to edit the thing, there's the big tab at the top that says responses. So that's where you did review answers, post scores. One other thing is you can also open it in Excel, which allows you to sort it a little better. So if you want to sort by high score, if you want to see their names in a more organized way than the post scores screen allows, that's what you would use the Excel thing for. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a dense question.
That's it.
I understand everything except that bubble sheet answer sheet that you had on the right.
Yeah.
How did you make that up? The bubble that went with the test.
Oh, I just, so here, yeah. So here again, I inserted the document, right?
Yeah.
And then I would just click somewhere off the document, click the insert forms button.
Yeah.
And I would have already either made one at that point, in which case it'll just show up in this big menu of different quizzes, right? The ones I have. Or if I haven't made one at this point, I'd click new quiz. It opens a window and you'd make your quiz real quick and then insert it.
You just did a form on the side.
Yeah, I just did a form on the side. That's all. So it's just in the same place.
I clicked quiz.
Yeah.
And it took me.
Yeah, it'll take you somewhere else. But like if you use one of your pre-existing ones, then it's just there. Okay? So if you've made your answer key up already, like I have with my, Intro to Geometry Unit 4 whatever test, then you just click that, answer sheet, test, both there. Yeah.
But you could also create the answer sheet with a link and pop that onto.
Yeah, you can just, this whole first half where we just did forms, you could just do that. You could, if that's the more efficient thing for you, and the kids just have their phones but you still want to use this, then you put up a link and say, everyone type this in and take your test and answer on that. It's flexible. I'm just, whatever, this is how I'm using it. So, yeah.
Now it's that you can insert the form also.
Yeah.
It gives you the side by side.
And it gives the students side by side. So they go back and not only do they see their answers and what they got right or wrong, they can flip right over to the question. Right? So they always have the test and test results. I do a lot of like retesting. So that's something that's useful for me. For them to go back and say, hey, you got question 4 and 5 wrong. Go back and do those again, restudy that and come back. Yeah.
At this point, we're pretty confident that all the kids know how to do this.
I mean, they almost all of them have used OneNote at least for one class. Any students that are freshmen or sophomores that are like the CP2 level, they've all used it a lot because they're with me. Yeah, most students have seen it for at least one thing or another. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Are we allowed to leave? Okay. All right. Thank you. And yeah, let me know if you do have any more follow-up questions later, and if you actually want to use it, go for it. And again, all of this stuff will be there, including, I don't know why you would actually want to watch this video, but whatever. Including that and more of the notes that I added for this if you need more instruction on it later. All right.